Yo, what's up, guys? We're going to hit some bets for Monday Night Football. So, what we can do is we can just look for, where do we want to start? I'll try to keep this live stream tight. There's a lot of good bets right now, even for college football, already showing up. Early bird gets the worm, whatever you want to say. So if you look at the positive EV tool on OddsJam, all this tool does, you put in the sports books that you use. It's just going to scan the market, point out value. So you can see one really good play right now is lines have kind of been ripping towards Illinois. You can pull up a little line movement chart and you can see, Pinnacle right here, which is known to be a very sharp, very sophisticated sports book. They've already ripped, Wisconsin also looked horrible last weekend, barely could score. The line has moved the point spread from minus 103 to minus 149. So maybe it's just early action coming in. All the action's coming in on Illinois, sharp action, whatever. Maybe it's lineup changes. Maybe a key player for Wisconsin is out. Who knows? But you can see there's a lot of college football bets, kind of showing up. But we'll start out on Underdog Fantasy. Why not? We got to get some picks for tonight. College football is great and all, but it's, still a little bit away. So what we can do is, where's my little spreadsheet? Underdog. Here it is. So let's find some picks on Underdog Fantasy. And we got some good looking plays. If you were on the live stream last night, it looks like we have a few different plays that are looking pretty good. So we need Tony over 15.5 rushing attempts. We also need Dak over in passing attempts to kind of cash out these two plays from last night. From last night's live stream, but let's look for some bets. So what we can do is we can start out, I got all my tabs open, way too many tabs open, but there's some good plays on PrizePicks as well, so we'll head to PrizePicks next. But we can start out by looking, at this OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer. So this tool is pretty simple, right? All this tool is going to do is kind of scan the market and point out value. So you can see the first play, the first bet that OddsJam is recommending is we take Jake Ferguson over 3.5 receptions. So this will be a good play to go with on Underdog Fantasy. So on Underdog Fantasy, I play a lot of these, 3-pick entries. If you look at their payout for 3-pick entries, Underdog Fantasy, they give you a 6x payout. You look at PrizePicks, it's, a lot worse. Damn, they already got football lines coming up for next week. But on PrizePicks for a 3-pick parlay, they only give you a 5x payout. So long story short, when you kind of run through the math behind Underdog Fantasy, you'll see these 3-pick entries are really good, right? They're optimal. And you can see this play on Jake Ferguson looks amazing. So basically, what we can do is, I kind of like to show why I'm betting what I'm betting, is if you look at Jake Ferguson, his line on PrizePicks is 4, right? So his line's higher. Even if you don't use PrizePicks, it's still a data point, for you to look at when you're placing your bets. ParlayPlay, another sports book, they have Ferguson's line at 4. Underdog Fantasy's hanging at 3.5. So it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Like the two other sports books have it higher, as sharp bettors, we're always looking for discrepancies in the market, right? You look at Joshua Palmer, Underdog has his line at 3.5. We can see where PrizePicks has his line. They have his line at 3.5. There's no value. There's no discrepancy, right? As a sharp bettors, profitable sports bettors looking to make money, we're trying to find these discrepancies in the market. And that's what, kind of this fantasy optimizer is going to point out to us. So we can roll with Jake Ferguson over 3.5. And then the second play is going to be a hockey play. So we want this player over an assist. So the way that Underdog Fantasy works, like the reason this platform, PrizePicks, these platforms are really interesting and exploitable is, they have fixed payouts, right? Like on Underdog, we take this guy to go over or under. It doesn't freaking matter. Any 3-pick entry, we create, we're going to get a 6x payout. Overs, unders, whatever. Any 3 picks you select, 6x payout. So basically the strategy for beating them is, you want to find spots where sportsbooks have an over super heavily favored. So like if we look at Ferguson, Caesar Sportsbook has him, you can follow the line movements, whatever. I've explained this before, but the market's always moving, just like the price of a stock is always reacting to new information. Oh, the company, their new product is selling well. The stock price goes up. The market's always reacting to new information. All this stuff, lineup changes, injuries, all this stuff is moving around the market. So we can see Ferguson, who knows? Maybe the coach said we're going to give him more targets. Maybe it's just sharp action. All the smart, sharp bettors started hammering the over, but his over is really heavily favored on the sports books. So the over is more likely than the under. So the over is the sharp pick we want to go with on Underdog. So that's the second pick we can roll with. And then we just need one more pick. We got to find one more good pick. So where do we want to go to? So no esports yet for tomorrow. I mean, you can see there's a play on CD Lamb, but again, Underdog Fantasy has fixed payouts, right? Over, under, whatever. You're always getting the same payout. So really the entire platform, it just boils down to, what percentage of your picks can you win? So it all boils down to win rate. What percentage of your picks can you win? If you can win these picks, let's say 60% of the time, your ROI on Underdog will be 30%, right? If you can win your over-unders, just like Ferguson over-under 3.5, you can win these over-under 60% of the time, only losing 40%. Your ROI is going to be really good, 30%. But that's hard to do, right? Even 55, win 55, only lose 45% of your picks. It's not like super easy. But anyways, we got 2 picks, but we want a third. We want to find a third pick ideally. Ooh, so here we go. We got Austin Matthews over 4.5 shots on goal. The strategy doesn't change, if you're betting on soccer or whatever. So let's go to Austin Matthews, and we want to take him over 4.5 shots. So these are 2 different games. We now have a nice little 3-pick entry, all overs, and we can go ahead and we can lock it in. And that'll be our first pick for the live stream, 3 over. So it's pretty simple, right? Why is this play on Austin Matthews winning above 55% of the time, which makes it profitable in an underdog entry? Well, look at all the sports books, right? Every sports book we treat as a data point. FanDuel, DraftKings, these are billion-dollar companies, They're pretty good at setting lines, moving around lines based on where sharp action, where their smart customers are betting. Injuries, they're pretty good at reacting to all this information in the market. And you can see every single sports book has Austin Matthews heavily favored to go over 4.5 shots on goal. So it's like, okay, seems like a pretty good play. A pretty good play that we can go with. So now we kind of okay, we got some play on Underdog Fantasy. There's not much other value. A lot of people ask me oh, why'd you bet this for $100? That's just the max bet size they give me. So sports betting, the hard part, it's pretty easy once you really understand the strategy, the math behind Underdog. It's not hard to get an edge. The hard part is just getting down the volume. You got to be placing these bets, these profitable bets, a lot. You want to place a lot of bets if you have a positive ROI. Just like if you're a good poker player, you don't go to the table, play one hand, and then leave. If you're the best poker player, you don't go to the table, you place one bet for the day, and you call it a day. You want to find as many bets as possible with an edge. So Underdog Fantasy has a max bet size of $100 for me. So that's just kind of, the size that I place on Underdog. But anyways, what we can do is now we can go to I just kind of bounce around from platform to platform. Should we look at PrizePicks next? And we can bounce over to ParlayPlay. I mean, there's so many different sports books. And again, the more of these books, you have, even though it seems like a pain for signing up, most of these books have, sign-up bonuses, $100 deposit matches, kind of crap like that. The more books you have, the better, right? More books, more promos. We got this play on Herbert to go over 0.5 yards. I mean, this is free. It's a free win, right? That's free money. Free win, at least, not free money. You can see on PrizePicks, where is it? Where's the promo? We have Steph Curry over 0.5 points. So that's another, easy money promo discount on PrizePicks. So the more books you have, more promos, all that sort of stuff. And again, you never know where the good bets are going to be on a given day. Sometimes there's a lot of opportunity. Like last night, I mean, there was a shit ton of opportunity on Underdog. That's why we have these plays open. We found these bets last night. But sometimes there's more bets on ParlayPlay. It just kind of depends on the day. So ParlayPlay, I'm up $7,000 in profit, let's say, $25,000 total bet, 25% ROI, whatever. And they have a pretty low max bet size as well. But I mean, who cares? Making money, having fun, betting on sports. So let's go over to ParlayPlay, and we can kind of take a look at what are you recommending to us? Again, we need 6 picks ideally. So you can see the first play it's recommending is Dak Prescott under 34.5 passing attempts. So we bet him earlier over 33.5. So you'd kind of be working into like a little middle bet. Maybe lines are drifting back towards, a little lower. Micah Parsons under 4.5 tackles plus assists. It's the same strategy on ParlayPlay, right? This is another freaking platform that gives you the same payout. Any 3-pick entry you create, you're getting a 5x payout. So not 6x like Underdog, but I mean, it's pretty simple how these platforms work. It all just boils down to, what percentage of your picks can you win? So you can see there's some discrepancies, but you need 6 picks on ParlayPlay. And right now it looks like there's some value, but some of these plays I also already bet. So I don't even think I'm going to be able to place another. So we can go back to PrizePicks as well. And maybe we look at PrizePicks first. I mean, it's not like it's horrible. Like, we do have some CSGO value. So I love my esports. So, esports is a great sport. It's a great sport to bet on. I never thought I'd be betting on esports, but hey, just kind of how it goes. If there's value, I'll be betting it. So you can see here, there's just like the market is so, inefficient. I don't know how to put it. Like it's so fragmented, right? You think about the price of a stock, there's one price for a stock. You go to Fidelity, E-Trade, Robinhood. This is the price for Facebook. What's crazy about sports betting, and the reason it's so profitable, is, you have all these sports books setting lines independently. They're all essentially trying to do it on their own, So this player, Volt, it's like ParlayPlay has his line at 15. I don't know anything about this guy, but it doesn't matter, right? Everything is baked into the market. People love to think that watching sports helps them bet on sports, but it's stupid. It doesn't, right? It's like, I use Instagram. I can't tell you what's going to happen to Facebook stock price, tomorrow. I use Google. I'm not going to be the best investor in Google, right? It's all about the data, so it doesn't matter. Like everyone who bets on sports watches sports. These books are in business. The way you got to beat them is with data, right? It's 2023. You got to be, using data to try to get an advantage on these little shitheads. But anyways, ParlayPlay has Volt's line at 15, right? In esports, you don't have as many data points. There's not a ton of books posting odds, right? But you can see Underdog has his line at 16.5. PrizePicks has him at 17. So we got some different options here, right? What we could do is we could middle bet this. So middle betting, hit the under 17 on PrizePicks, the over 15. Like there's this, it's kind of like buying a stock at $15 and then, you sell it at $17. But the stock market's too efficient. That's never going to happen in the stock market. Only in freaking, when you really think about this, it's crazy. This is the exact same bet. How many kills is Volt going to have? Or headshots. I apologize. Headshots. ParlayPlay has his line at 15. PrizePicks 17. Like, it's crazy. It's the exact same bet, right? Like, it's literally like the price of a stock being completely different prices on Fidelity versus Robinhood. Just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, so we could middle bet this. I mean, not as fun to middle bet, but if we wanted to, we could start to build a nice little slip right here. So we want Dak under 34.5 passing attempts. We want Micah Parsons under 4.5 tackles plus assists, but this play doesn't really pair that well together, right? Like if we're going to take Micah Parsons to go under, then it doesn't really make sense to take Dak to go under as well. Like if the Cowboys have a crappy game, the defense is going to be on the field longer. So if Dak has a bad game, has only 20 passing attempts because the Cowboys suck, then Micah Parsons is going to be on the field longer. He's more likely to go over. So these plays aren't like great to pair together. But what is good to pair together is if we took Dak under and then we took Quentin Johnston over 31.5 receiving yards. So you can see all the books have his line, FanDuel has him at 35.5. So most bets suck, but we're just kind of trying to hunt down these plays that, where are their discrepancies in the market? Where's their value in the market? That's what we're trying to zone in on. So like 31.5, 35.5, 34.5, right? Caesars has the line at 31.5, but they have the over super heavily favored, right? Minus 163 favorite. So it seems like there's a little bit of value on this play. Don't want to print that. And then we got Austin Eckler under in rushing yards. So long story short, maybe we'll come back to it. Let's go to PrizePicks quick. Not enough value to lock in a slip. Although we did, we've been hitting on ParlayPlay. So anyways, what we can do is we can go over to PrizePicks and we can start building a slip for this game. So MLB, it looks like the first play it's recommending is the Nerfy. No runs allowed first inning. So let's check out the deal. What's the deal here? And again, this play's not on Underdog Fantasy, right? Like all these books have different lines from one another. Damn, the Rangers. Crazy. So if we go here, what we can do is, I just kind of like to show the data, show what's kind of going on. As you can see, like the Nerfy is heavily favored, right? Like the under is heavily favored. This game's a lot more likely to not have a run in the first inning. Sportsbooks have the under favored. PrizePicks is another one of these platforms where you get the same damn payout. You select the over or the under, you get the same payout. So we want to turn to the sportsbooks, use them as a source of information. Even if you don't use Fliff, it's still a source of information. This is still a sportsbook that has invested millions of dollars into their data feeds, ability to set lines. They're taking bets, moving around lines based on where action's coming in. We still want to put some weight into their odds. So I know people aren't going to like this second play, but that's not my problem. There are two plays that actually pair pretty well together. So the first is Justin Herbert, under 3.5 rushing attempts. Damn, they bumped it. They already bumped it to 3. But another good one is Austin Eckler, no rushing touchdowns. So rushing touchdowns is different than touchdowns for Eckler, right? Because obviously he can receive and score touchdowns. He can be a receiver and catch a touchdown. But if we look at Eckler, you can see he's a pretty damn big favorite to score a touchdown. Minus 170, minus 165. So we don't want to touch Austin Eckler. We wouldn't want to bet his under. But if you look at rushing touchdowns specifically, you'll see he's actually favored to go under, right? Minus 140, minus 135. Not as many books post rushing touchdown lines, but he's he's favored to score a touchdown, but he's favored to not rush for a touchdown. So that difference in, probability is obviously him just receiving for a touchdown. But anyways, what we can do as well is maybe we don't have to take this pick because it also doesn't pair well with this new play that just popped up. We have Damon Clark over 7.5 tackles plus assists. So if we take a look at this play, it's like, okay, Underdog has the line at 8. All these sports books, Caesars has him as a minus 157 favorite to go over. Like all these books have him favored to go, over in tackles plus assists. If you just look at defense, he's favored to go over. So it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Maybe that's a good pick to go with. Oh, shoot. And then this play pairs pretty well. So think about it, right? We also have Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott to throw an interception, everyone's favorite bet. So if we take a look at Dak, if you go over to whatever, passing props, you'll see, he's favored to throw an interception. Where is it? Player interceptions. So maybe they don't have a lineup on interceptions on Caesars. But that's the good thing about sports betting is, there's a ton of books that post lines. So if we take a look at Dak on any other sports book, you can see Fliff, whatever, he's favored to throw an interception. So let's go here. And then we can go over to the Cowboys game, player props, player interceptions, right? Dak Prescott, heavily favored to throw an interception. So on PrizePicks, a platform where we get the same payout, if we take him to go over or under, we want to take him to throw an interception if he's more likely to. And again, following the data, it's not always exciting. Or your gut may disagree with it, but the data never lies long term, So if you want to make money sports betting, my number one recommendation to everyone is just, take your gut out of sports betting, see how it works for you, and I can almost assure you, you're going to make more money. So another play, I used this earlier in a slip. We have Anger over 3.5 punts. You can see I paired that with Dak touchdowns, which pairs pretty well, right? Like, or sorry, that's a field goal play that I paired, and that does pair well. But regardless, like these plays paired well. We have the Dallas punter to go over in punts. We have their field goal kicker to go under in field goals. If homie's punting the ball more, they're probably not going to have as many field goals. So we have some nice correlation on this slip. But we'll add this play on Dak interceptions. But this doesn't play well, right? Like if Dak throws an interception, then this guy's less likely to be punting the ball, right? So that doesn't pair well together. But on the bright side, we do have some esports plays, kind of popping up. So we can refresh this. Market's always moving. So you always want to see, whatever, up-to-date data. So if you take a look at this player, FBI, shit. So you can see they just bumped it on us. These great lines, they're not going to last forever. So I try to move as quickly as I can. But anyways, we can go to this player, FBI over 2. So there's some early esports value, which, we can take advantage of. Sometimes we can find, some decent correlation in esports, positive correlation, but damn. So that's a little annoying. On that, we also have, Justin Herbert over 3 rushing attempts. So this play actually seems pretty good. It seems pretty good to pair with, or that's not what I meant to do. If we look up Herbert, taking him over 3. So if we took him interceptions, we'd want to lean to bet his under, right? Because books have him favored to not throw an interception. But for rushing attempts, we want to take his over. You're going to see sportsbooks have his line at 3.5. Not a ton of data points, but these plays pair well together, right? Like if Dak, only slightly, but like you can think about it, like how do these plays pair together? If Dak throws an interception, Justin Herbert is more likely to have more possessions. So that means he's more likely to go over 3 rushing attempts. So it's like, okay, that play seems decent. Man, they already got some plays showing up as well for Thursday Night Football. So if we look at like Travis, we can take a look, see, it doesn't look like they have any, touchdown lines up yet for Thursday Night Football. But anyways, let's try to finish out this PrizePicks slip. And again, if you didn't include the Curry discount, obviously you could include it. I included it on the last live stream. Don't want to forget to use it, that's for sure. But anyways, there's another good esports play, so maybe we just take this, right? So we could go here, and then we can go to League of Legends, and then we want to take over 1.5. So some early League of Legends value. Not a ton, but again, not a ton of value in esports right now, at least on any of these platforms. But out of, the 70 whatever, call it, lines PrizePicks has posted, there's some value in the market. What moved? Damn. What did they move on us? They moved the rushing attempts one. Damn. That's annoying. So we'll have to go back here and let's just find, ideally, another pair that we can go with quickly. So if we go back here, what we can do is we can refresh this as well. Just kind of the positive EV tool. Some of these, they are ripping lines on us today, but that's just how it goes sometimes. So you can see here, a lot of these plays, they also show up on this positive EV tool. Dak Prescott, heavily favored to go over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So when you go through the math behind PrizePicks, and you really understand how this platform works, all you got to do to be profitable on PrizePicks is win these over-unders above 54.25%, of the time. So Dak Prescott, he's heavily favored to throw over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Bet online, pretty sharp sports book. Here's a line movement chart. They have him at minus 149 favorite. So all these books have him heavily favored to throw over 1.5 touchdowns. So it's like, okay, like seems like a pretty good play to go with. But anyways, we still need one more pick. So it's like, shit. So what we could do is we could go here. And let's just refresh this and let's see what you got for us. So there is a combo prop, but again, you want to make sure things pair well together. It doesn't really make sense to take the nerfy and take hitters to go over. So what do we want to take? We could take this combo prop over and touchdown. So if we go back here, right, we can take a look here. And this play pairs decently well. So we have Johnston plus Lamb to score a touchdown. So pretty random slip. It always seems like we're betting the most random crap. But if that's where the value is, you know, that's where we'll be playing. Like, it's interesting how that works out. That's for sure. Like, for example, it's like I just kind of follow the value. So a lot of people, you know, they'll be like, "Oh, how did you find those specific picks?" It's like typically it's like I just found some good bets. WinBet is one of my favorite books because it's not legal in a ton of states. I think it's illegal in like 5 or 10 states. So I try not to focus on it as much in the live streams because not as many people can use it. But like, it's like, what the hell is this bet? It's like, well, you know, this was an NFL play with really good value. You know, here's a college football bet with a lot of value. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's a play I locked in, you know, that ended up winning. I don't have a crystal ball. I just look for a bunch of plays with an edge, lock them in, make some money, call it a day. So what we can do next is we can go here. So it's like, okay, like whatever, like maybe some esports lines are going to drop. It looks like they still have all these plays available on Underdog Fantasy. So if you're just tuning in, here's what we hit on Underdog Fantasy. But anyways, what we can do is we can look at Fliff briefly. Oh my God. It's like, what is going on Fliff? They are not the sharpest tools in the shed today. I mean, I've already bet like a lot of money on Fliff. So I'm not going to be able to play. I'll have to redeposit because I've already fired off 17 college football bets today. But you can see there's a ton of opportunity on Fliff. And that's kind of the benefit of having multiple books. It's like if you look right here, Minnesota +4. It's like, what are they doing? They have this line at +110, Caesars -110, Pinnacle -118. This is the sharpest bookmaker. They have this line at -118. And this is also arbitrage, right? So arbitrage is a strategy I like. Like here's an arbitrage bet I actually bet earlier on Fliff. So if you take a look right here, on Fliff, I hit this under, you know, right here. If you want to make some risk-free money with me, here's your opportunity. I hit this for $240, the under 44.5 right here, -220. Or actually, I hit it for $250 total, which is their max. So I'll show you how this works. Like when sportsbooks get, you know, all these books set lines independently. So when they get super, super out of sync with one another, sometimes, like right here, again, it's rare, but out of the tens of damn, these games just started. We already got a sweat on. But out of these tens and tens and tens of thousands of lines on each platform, you know, sometimes they screw up their lines or the discrepancies are so big that you can bet the over on one book, the under on another book, and guarantee yourself a risk-free profit, which is sick, right? It's free money. So if we take a look right here, I can just kind of run you through the math. So I bet the over 44.5 at +130 on FanDuel. And then I bet the under 44.5, right? These are obviously equal and opposite outcomes. And it doesn't seem glamorous, but it's free money for 20 seconds of work. I always hear people be like, everyone has a bullshit excuse for being lazy. Like, damn, like I got to have 3 sports books. It's like, it literally takes 2 minutes to sign up. You know, if you want to make money sports betting, it takes 2 minutes to sign up for these books. And most of them give you a free $100, $200 just for signing up. It's like, take 2 minutes. Even if, like, I tell all my friends who don't bet on sports, sign up for PrizePicks, put in 100. They give you 100 for free. Bet it on something. If you lose, just take out your money. You know, call it a day. Like, it's a free $100, right? That they're giving you. But anyways, what we can do is we can kind of go through this arbitrage bet very quickly. So on Fliff, let's say you hit this for 250. On FanDuel, you hit this for 200. So it's like, okay, like cool. How does this work out? And the reason I always put in 250 on Fliff is that's their max bet size. So they only have a max bet size of $250. So that's just, kind of what we're working with. 250, 250, 250. But anyways, what I was going to say is we can kind of go through the math. Like, how do we, cool, these sportsbooks have this discrepancy, but how do we turn this into a risk-free profit of $9? Let's go through it. So if the game goes over 44.5, right, when you're arbitrage betting, you're always good. This is how I started sports betting too. Made my first, like, I guess $40,000 doing this. Starting out arbitrage betting because I didn't want to take a risk is so let's just do this. FanDuel Fliff, right? If the game goes over, our bet on FanDuel will win, right? Our bet on FanDuel will win. We bet $200 at plus 130 odds. So our profit's going to be 260, right? Pretty simple. On FanDuel, we're up 260, but we lose on Fliff. We make $10 risk-free. Now, if the game goes under, we lose our bet on FanDuel. We lose $200, but on Fliff, we're up 250 times 100 over 120. We're up $208. We make $8 in profit. So we make a risk-free profit no matter what happens. Just kind of following this arbitrage calculator. The reason it's not exactly $9 is you can see I rounded this to 250. So like I always recommend when you're arbitrage betting, round your bet sizes. Don't, freak out the sports books or anything. So that's pretty cool. There's a good arbitrage bet. Can make some risk-free money. And then, I just kind of bounce around from tool to tool. Now you can see there's only this play on Jake Ferguson because these other two hockey games started. So let's hope these boys get some shots and some assists. So on ParlayPlay, there's just not a ton of stuff right now. So I never want to force a bet. So if I don't see a ton of value, last night there was a shit ton of value. So the live stream was pretty long. We hit a ton of bets. And there's some good promos for tonight. Like all this crap, I bet. Like Tony. So like, for example, DraftKings has Eckler and Tony 100 plus rushing yards boosted to plus 100. So if you just look at their rushing yards line, Eckler's line is 50-ish. Tony's line, let's just say it's 70-ish. So you combine them, that comes out to 120 rushing yards, right? And we're getting the over 100 plus at plus 100 odds when their rushing line is supposed to be 120 combined. So getting 100 plus is a really good deal, right? That's a steal. So we definitely want to take this, which I did bet on DraftKings, gave that out on Twitter. But what we can do as well, because I need to deposit money into Fliff in a bit. But what we can do is we can kind of go here and you can put in all sports books and then we can just kind of take a look at what's the plan for tonight? We got the Chargers game. Lines haven't really moved. Cowboys, small favorites. And you can see just here, this looks like a great bet on Ballybet, depending on where you're located. Maybe you use it, maybe you don't. A lot of bets on Bovada, some on PrizePicks, whatever. Dak interception, Dak passing touchdowns. So there's some value on PrizePicks, and obviously value is kind of the core of making money sports betting. Finding value in the market. So, yeah. But anyways, doesn't seem like there's a ton right now. So then we can go back here. A lot of good bets on Fliff today. So you look here, West Virginia minus 2.5, minus 155 on DraftKings, minus 154 on Pinnacle. So you can see I have this bet here. West Virginia minus 2.5 for 150. And then I also have them in a parlay. So you can include things in parlay. If a bet is profitable, it's good to go in a parlay or a straight bet or kind of whatever. But anyways. So you got to remember too, how do sportsbooks make money? They make money by charging a spread, the VIG, right? So when you are trying to figure out why is this bet profitable? You want to use this calculator. It's called a no VIG odds calculator, fair odds calculator, true odds calculator. It's the most important calculator in sports betting. And all it does is it takes a sportsbook's market, removes the VIG, and tells you the true line with the VIG removed, right? So if you go to a car dealer, you'll sell your car, they'll buy it for $10,000. Then they'll try to sell it for $15,000. So they probably thought your car was worth $12.5K, right? They buy it from you for 10, they sell it for 15. So they think your car's worth somewhere in the middle, 12.5. They don't think your car's worth 10K if they're buying it for 10K, right? They think it's worth more and they can sell it for more. So sportsbooks also make money by charging a spread, just like a car dealer, a baseball card dealer, whatever, a stockbroker. They all make money by charging spreads. So FanDuel's market is plus 114, minus 146. So essentially what you can do is you can remove the spread or the VIG. You remove the VIG, no VIG calculator, fair odds calculator. So with the VIG removed, according to FanDuel's market, they have West Virginia minus 2.5. West Virginia looked horrible last week and Oklahoma State looked great. I actually won a crazy bet on Oklahoma State, which I got to brag about. I mean, I do have bragging rights after this bet. It was like Oklahoma State cashed me out. I mean, we had a 4.5K win on Oklahoma State. I also had them in a parlay that worked out. But anyways, again, it doesn't feel good to bet against Oklahoma State. They've looked hot, but just following the data. That's always how I bet. I'll never change it up. It's just what works, right? The data never lies. But anyways, you can see here, all the books have WVU, right? Minus 150. A lot of people watch sports, right? It's what do you think that wouldn't be priced into the market? Lineup changes, injuries, all this stuff, injuries, all this crap. It's baked into the market. Weather, baked into the market. That's what's great about looking at sportsbook odds. Everything's baked into the market, just like everything is baked into the price of Facebook stock. If they made a lot of money last quarter, they lost a lot of money, it's all baked into the stock price. The market reflects everything. The economy's doing well. It's doing poorly. It's all reflected in the stock price. And sure, it may not be perfect. Maybe maybe it's not perfect, but in general, you get the point. I mean, you could also arbitrage bet this, right? Whenever arbitrage exists, one of these bets by definition has to be profitable. With this arbitrage, oh shit, we got another arbitrage play for tomorrow, early arbitrage play for tomorrow. So here, it looks like FanDuel's the one screwing up, offering plus 142. And again, these bets can occur at any time. Market is open 24/7 in sports betting. Market's always open. So it's okay, we could arbitrage bet this. Let's say you have $500 on FanDuel, hit it for 500, hit this for 695, make a risk-free profit of $15. I mean, it's risk-free money. You get it back tomorrow. It's crazy. Sitting at home in your fucking pajamas, you make a risk-free $15. I used to get home from work every day, grab a beer, hit these arbitrage bets, make risk-free money, go to bed. Pretty chill life. But it's pretty clear. But when you can make money betting equal and opposite outcomes on two sports books, one of these bets has to be profitable. We could bet the Coyotes plus 1.5 on DraftKings and the Islanders minus 1.5 on FanDuel and make a risk-free profit, right? So one of these bets has to be profitable. And it's pretty clear in this case, FanDuel is the one that's, kind of screwing up. This is just basic logic. But we can see, I mean, they'll move this line soon. It's not going to last at plus 142. We can check it in a bit. But anyways, so we removed the spread from FanDuel's market, right? The price with the VIG or the spread removed is minus 127. So the way that sportsbooks work is they go the opposite way. Sportsbooks have models that spit out, hey, we think West Virginia minus 2.5 has a true price, like the odds should be, minus 127. And then they add juice to their markets. They add the spread. They add the VIG. Just like a car dealer, you walk up to him, he goes, your car's worth, probably 12.5K. They're thinking in their head, oh, I'll buy your car for $10,000. And then they try to flip it for 15. So here, it's okay, the fair line, according to FanDuel, is minus 127 with the VIG removed. We're getting minus 120. So we're getting better odds. So this bet's positive EV. It's profitable. Now on DraftKings, their market is plus 116, minus 155. The true line with the VIG removed, DraftKings is, they have WVU as a little bit more of a favorite, minus 155 versus minus 146 on FanDuel. So they have WVU slightly more favored to cover the spread. So the fair line is minus 131. So you can do this for all the sports books. I mean, again, and kind of get a market consensus of, okay, what should the line be set at? And again, the data never lies long term. You're going to lose some bets, you're going to win some bets, but you'll make money long term. damn, this play's still available. And you can see, like, we hit some 40Xs this weekend, which I was pretty happy about. This was from the live stream. 6-leg parlay, 60 to win 2,400. And we had 2 bad beats this weekend. Like 2 other plays. We almost won 3 6-leg parlays. Whoever this is, freaking Memphis quarterback, redneck quarterback, throws 321 yards. And then Dexter Lawrence, So it was almost an epic weekend. You're always going to have bad beats, just kind of how it goes. But on this platform, ParlayPlay, literally just following the data, never placing a bet with my gut. All these freaking sports books. Same thing, same strategy. Follow the data. Just let the math work itself out long term. Up 6.8K. And they only have a max bet size of $60. Up 7K almost on 25K bet. I mean, it says it all. And I've only been using this book for a few months. So all these plays given out on the live stream or on Twitter. So anyways, damn, that arbitrage play is still available. Crazy. So what we can do is we can go back here. We can close some tabs. Maybe, sometimes I try to get lucky, but a lot of the best bets, they're going to occur when books, like when things change in the market, or sometimes there's really good bets early in the week. Like you can see right now with football, it's like these books have no idea what they're doing, especially Flip, right? It's like, what are they doing with this line at -120? We could arbitrage bet this, make a risk-free profit. It's also pretty clear that Flip is screwing up a lot of these lines. Maybe we should just place these bets on Flip since clearly they have an edge. So yeah, anyways, we'll call it a day for now. So hopefully this live stream was helpful. We hit some bets on Fliff. We hit some bets on Underdog Fantasy. Need these boys to get going. And then we hit this on PrizePicks. Dak Prescott to throw an interception, Nerfy in the Diamondbacks-Phillies game. But anyways, thanks so much for your time, guys.